All right, welcome back to the stream. Today we are going to be talking about the unthinkable. I got to 1800 over the board. It was a really exciting moment for me. It's something I've been basically working on since I came back to chess 4 years ago. I thought I would have it no problem. The road was very challenging. I got so close and then dropped so far from it. And I have finally passed 1800. It's one of those moments where I was like, oh my goodness, I did it. I just like, I couldn't believe it. I was so excited. But then chess is such a cruel world, right? And then like immediately afterwards, I'm like, well, now what? Like I made that goal. That's cool. But what's next? So chess. So I thought today we could start by looking at the game that got me to 1800, and then we'll do some of our chess improvement. So let's take a look at what got us there. I showed up, which was interesting. I thought I was going to be the black pieces against this other guy, and then I get paired against someone totally different, and I have the white pieces. So it was all around shocking. So I started with my normal d4. My opponent played d5, and I was very happy about that. Like this is what I'm the most confident if I'm my opponent playing. Now I can just play, my exchange, get into the Carlsbad, and just have a comfortable game. My opponent played this move, which is a fine move. The database has it way down, but it's a totally fine move. Lots of people play it. I think most people here will do this move, or maybe they'll start here and go into some sort of Slav. But he went with this, so that was a little bit weird. But it's okay. I played c4 and just kind of played normally. My opponent plays e6, signifying that I can just take and go into the Carlsbad like I normally do. I think most people would probably just play here. My coach and I were talking about, is this a good move here? As it's interesting, right? Like I'm hitting this again. Like how exactly are they dealing with this? How are they handling this pawn? And if they do this, that looks pretty good for me. Already, like it doesn't look terrible, but it's not great. What's good in the neighborhood is I hit 1800, and I'm very excited. All right, so like a sample line that I was looking at with my coach is just something like develop normally, and like what do they do about this? This pawn is like a backwards pawn already. I'm gonna just pile up on it. This diagonal's weak because this bishop is over here and not here. Like it just looks kind of weird. And like I don't know, it just doesn't look great. It's not bad. It's not like black is losing there or something. But it just doesn't look great. So my coach was saying like maybe queen b3 would be better. I went to my normal Carlsbad setup. If you don't know the Carlsbad, it's this idea of these four against these three like this, where you end up pushing here and trying to create a weakness over here. Oftentimes the weakness you end up with is this pawn and this pawn, and then you can pile up on this weak c pawn, and that's what ends up happening in the game. So we'll get to see sort of the Carlsbad in action. So I'm just developing. I like to play this move. It gives me a bunch of options. First of all, if there's a pin. Second of all, after they go here, if I take and they take, it looks very subtle and minor, but it's kind of a big deal. So let's just look. Like, let's say they had gone here. I probably would have just taken, and they take back. And now you're like, so what? Like, you gained nothing. You just gave up the two bishops for nothing. And that's accurate, except that this bishop is bad, temporarily, and it's no longer guarding this spot. And this is the move that we want to make to propel forward our minority attack. So I think in this spot I can play b4 right away. They have ran into some problems, or maybe I can't play b4 right away, and maybe I need to go this first. Then they play here, and then now if I want, I think I can play b4. We should check this. Can I play b4 here? Yeah, so I can play b4 right away if I want. Doesn't really matter, but I could even just continue with my normal stuff. Let's say they play c6. I play here. They take. I take. They either castle or go here. I castle. They castle. And now I play b4. Whereas if this bishop is here, I have to actually play rook b1 first to set up b4, which is fine. But this is just kind of like the accelerated Carlsbad after moving this bishop. So it's a very subtle, small thing, but it's why I end up playing here so that I have that option. Also, it's going to sound weird, but in the Carlsbad, like, this bishop isn't that great. We can see if my pawn structure is this, the dark squared bishop is kind of a bad bishop. And the knights are quite valuable. There's all these holes that they can jump around in. So knights are quite good. This is just some subtleties of the Carlsbad that I've picked up. All right, so e3, I play, he plays h6, and I really would have rathered the bishop was here. And I think most people here would drop the bishop back and just say, okay, like if you want to go here, then that's pretty weakening, and I'm happy with that. But I decided to take. I like giving up this bishop for that knight anyway. And now we're in the typical thing that I play, which is like a totally even game where I know more. You also recently hit 1800 in classical. Awesome. But you came from the other direction. Oh no, less awesome. I'm sorry to hear that. So I went here fully assuming my opponent would take back. Fully assuming. They did not. They just developed a piece, which, you know, seems very reasonable, actually. If you think about it, it's like, why? Like, if they take and I take and they develop the piece, well, I've gotten... If this is good to have my queen here rather than here, then I've gotten a free move. Whereas this way that they did it, they developed a piece, and then when I take, my queen is still here. So I was like, okay, that probably is a good idea. Wow, this Carl fella must have been terrible at chess if this pawn structure keeps getting called bad. Yeah, I know. Poor Carl. I believe it's Carlsbad the city, but yeah, I hear it. Actually, I don't know. Is it Carlsbad the city? I'm not sure. It's fine. You managed to score 1.5 out of 2 in your latest 2 games. That's awesome. Okay, so I castled. Get safe. My opponent develops their knight. And I played rook b1. Getting ready for the typical minority attack. Interestingly, the engine says that is not the best way to do this. And that there's kind of some clever stuff here. I could play e4 here, which is something I don't think I even considered, because, like, they just take. But it's kind of taking advantage of the fact that my opponent still hasn't castled yet, which is kind of surprising. Usually people have castled by now. So if I go here and they take, they're threatening this. But if I were to go here, they wouldn't be able to take. But then they could just castle. So, but what I can do is take here, threatening this, have a pretty nicely placed knight, and they can't take here, right? I hope you can all see why they cannot take here. Right, they take here, and we've got this situation. What did I call this in my Chessable course? Was this one the showdown? No, this I think was stack them and crack them. Like, so these two are stacked up, and we move over and we crack them open, and they lose their queen. So they can't do that, right? So after we take, they probably want to preserve their bishop, so they move back. And now we're looking pretty good, right? We can do all kinds of things. The problem is we've got this isolated pawn, so I don't know that I love that, but we can go here, chase the queen a little bit more. if they take before even taking back, we've got the intermezzo of going here, and I don't know, what are they supposed to do? I guess they could go here. Then we take, and then they castle, and then I don't know. I just like looking at all this. It's cool, it's cute, but I know the other position very well. So if we're here, that was do we go here or do we go here? And I know what happens if I play rook b1, and so I decided to go that way. Yeah, what's up, Fried Foxy? I did it. I made it. It feels kind of surreal. All right. But like all chess accomplishments, fleeting and meaningless, right? It's like, okay, what's next? 1900, 2000? Like, what's next on the agenda? All right, so he takes his knight, which is not in a great spot, and moves it to a better spot. Okay. I'm going to have to admit that here, I started getting a little nervous, right? I was like, okay, my plan that I want to enact is push this pawn down, mess with his pawns, and start my own game plan. But is my opponent actually threatening like g4, g5, knight comes in, like all these, like, is my king in a little jeopardy? And so I started getting a little nervous, and I calculated for a little while, and I just said kind of like, I don't think so. I think my king is totally fine. The engine agrees and says b4 is a good move here. I play b4, and he does. He plays g5, and I'm like, oh boy. A little bit of me was like, ooh, we could play h3 to stop this. But I think we all can see that that would be probably a really bad idea. Right now they get to make a hook. If I play h3, they play here, threatening both. Something's going to fall apart. My king starts falling apart. So I realized, like, okay, just keep it chill. Just keep it chill. If they go here, I have this move, hitting the queen, followed by cementing the piece. That should be fine. If they come in here and try to do stuff like this, I can, push this pawn. Like, I should be okay. Yes, my attack is slow, but I think it works. So I keep going. Here, my opponent finally gave in and castled. I think my opponent was planning to maybe long castle, and now they realize, like, ooh, long castle is going to be very tricky. Like, that probably will not work. Like, imagine a world in which they long castled here. And I took, and they took. Like, we can see this king looks... Like, are they getting mated in, like, one turn, actually? I think probably the best idea is just to, like, whoops, my bad. I'll just head back and try to, like, slow castle that way, right? Happy a day after Thanksgiving to you, too, as well, Daniel. Hope things are going well. So, yeah, so he can't long castle. So he gives up on that dream, short castles. And when he short castles, I do, like, an internal, woo, okay. That attack that I was imagining is not coming in its full force. Now I get to do some of my stuff. And this, I feel like, was probably a mistake. I don't know if the engine's going to like it. I haven't looked at this with an engine. We'll do that in a moment. But I went here. And my thought was, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here. I'm going to own this file. But if we do the math on that, it does not actually work, and we'll see in a moment that why not. But here I thought this was going to work, and my open file itis fully took over. I was like, I want this open file. I'm going to get the open file, and I'm going to do it. My rating is now 1810 USCF, Gadzinko. 1810. It's going to sound weird, but like when I came back to chess, I just kind of decided that 1800 meant I was good at chess. And like I looked around at people that I respected as chess players and was like, yeah, 1800 is kind of the marker of like, if you hit 1800, it means you're good. You're not great, right? But you're like a good chess player. And the funny thing is that now that I've hit 1800, I'm like, I don't know that it means that at all. Like, I'm certainly not a good chess player. So I don't know. It's very challenging. Okay. All right, so I put on rook b7. Let's see what the engine thinks about this move. We'll see why it's not a great move in a few. Yeah, the engine doesn't even have it on its radar. Um, the funny thing is, it's no worse than the other moves. Like, it says I'm at point 2, and there are 4 other moves it likes better. They'll put me at point 3. So it's the same, but it's a subtle difference, right? So, like, as we'll see, this is basically saying, like, let's trade everything. Whereas something like this is saying, or this is saying, this is the weakness. I worked really hard, by the way, to make this weakness. Why would I trade off all of the rooks and not be able to exploit the weakness? Obviously, I need to exploit the weakness that I've just made. So let's go here, trying to exploit the weakness. Let's go here, starting to exploit that weakness. Going here does not hit the weakness. It doesn't do anything we're going to see, and it doesn't work at all. So that's kind of disappointing that I just kind of like, I let the open file itis take over and be like, open file, capture, we're on, let's do it. And it's like, that's not, like I've played 1,000 Carlsbad positions, and I know that's not the point. The whole point is I made this weakness on C6, now let's pile up on it. Let's see. Gadzinko says, congrats on reaching your goal, but I started feeling better about chess when I stopped caring about ratings. Gadzinko, fully agree with that. When I dropped all the way down to like 1600 again, I stopped caring. It was great. It was wonderful for my psyche. I have this new plan. It goes like this. Wow, my camera is... Hold on. Is it really that bad, or was it that bad for a second? I think it's okay. All right, let me know if it's blurry. Okay, this is how my plan went. If I do bad, then I don't care about ratings. Ratings are irrelevant. I can't use them as the one way to evaluate myself. It's only going to bring a spiral of badness. But if I do well, then I like to celebrate the ratings gains and say, okay, it's a way to measure my progress. If it's going up, then we can lean into that and be happy. And then when it goes down, we just have to be like, that's ratings. Like, who knows? Any ratings can mean anything. Does me being rated 1810 even mean I'm an 1800 player? No, it does not. I spiked a tournament, and maybe I'm still a 1700 player who had a good day, or a good couple days, and now my rating says I'm 1800. I can't deal with this. Is the camera blurry? Okay, so yes, let's do that. Let's move this up. I think the camera must have recovered. Okay, but yeah, so that's how I feel about ratings. Daniel says he was also looking at Queen A4, and yeah, I think Queen A4 is a really, really good. Yeah, okay, now it looks fine. Queen A4 looks great. So I'm really kind of upset with myself that I made that move. Like, let's just go back and see how this game would have progressed. Let's say I went here. What would they do? They can't. I mean, I guess they can. Wait, can they just push here? I think this is one of the things I was worried about during the game. If I take, and then they take, and they still now have this weakness, and this guy is being hit. So I don't think this is a good idea. Even if this doesn't immediately lose, I don't think that's a great plan. And in fact, it does immediately lose. Engine says I can take here, which I didn't think I could because of this. But then we get this, and we are up a pawn, and they have some new problems. So they can't really push there. So then what are they going to do? What they could do is decide, well, I'll take the open file. Hooray. But I'm not really sure what the open file does. There's lots of things I could do here. I feel like I could go here, immediately putting pressure there. They moved this rook over. That's probably a mistake. They probably need to move that rook. I could go here, putting more pressure on this pawn. I could go here, taking away this entry spot. Basically, they would have to take several turns to like double maybe better here to at least put some support there, but I just don't think it's going to be great. Like it's fine. They'll hold it together for a while, but yeah, it's not gonna be great. What a good question. All right, Gadzinho likes my policy. I like it. Spiking a term is a good achievement too, so congratulations on that as well. Thanks so much. Did I get a trophy for your tournament? Just a couple dollars. Yeah, I'm really sad about this. Okay, so here's the deal. This tournament was called the Daniel Naroditsky Memorial Tournament, and so like I really have a fondness for him and his work, and I really was hoping to get him on the podcast at some point, and he was like one of those guests that I was like, when I get bigger, I'll be able to get him, and I'll be really excited. He's so wonderful. And so it was really amazing to win that tournament. So having a trophy for that tournament would have been really cool. But we have a tournament every month. They don't do trophies for them, so I made a little bit of money. What's really funny though, and I don't know if they're gonna notice this, that they made a mistake, but the person who got second got a higher prize than I got because they gave me the prize for the best under 1700. And then they gave that guy the prize for like the open winner, and I was like, "Wait, what? No, I won the tournament. Like I clear first, 3.5. Next highest was 3. So it was very weird that I actually made the third most amount of money in the tournament for winning it. So I don't know. It's only like $10, so I'm not the kind of guy who's gonna be like, well, actually, you guys made a mistake here. So I'm just gonna let it go. I'm gonna donate that money and then some more money to the Daniel Naroditsky Memorial Fund thing. So it's fine. It's kind of humorous that that happened with the pricing. But so it's extra sweet for me to win that tournament. There's a little part of me that's like, I kind of want to just go out and buy myself a trophy for that, because I think it's the first tournament I've won, like the first actual tournament. I've won my like section, but I've never won a full-on tournament before. So yeah, so that was a very, very sweet moment. Okay, bottom line is, this is a bad idea. So let's see why. And I immediately recognized it. He went here, and I went, oh my goodness, I'm a moron. If I just blindly follow through my plan, which was to go like here. Also, I missed this move when I was thinking about this, here, and then go here. Like optically, this looks fantastic for me. Like we can look at this and be like, wow, tripled on the open file. You have basically won this game. But if we actually look at this, it's totally pointless. And if we trade here, question, how are we exploiting these weaknesses? They just bring the king over, and what? What exactly are we doing here? Like, I imagine the engine will say this is dead even. Well, it gives me 0.2. I don't know why. That would be very hard to exploit. But the point is, it's an even game now, and there's no way to win. And it's... Okay, so Gadzinko says, what about knight e5? I think knight e5 they would just take, right? And then it would be even worse to a degree. Because now, like, these pawns are mobile. Well, maybe not fully mobile. I was thinking to protect this pawn now, they might have to go here, here, here. And now these pawns are totally mobile. And that feels like a lot of problems, right? So the bottom line, though, is that, like, it was very frustrating for me to do this math and be like, oh my goodness, like, this is ridiculous. And then I could go another way. I was looking at, well, if I went like here, and I think this is what I was initially looking at. Here, we trade these things. Here, and then I could go here. And it's like, okay, I've won a pawn. I'm with this passed pawn. But then my opponent, first of all, if this knight wasn't here, it would be mate, which is worrisome. So, you know what they can do? They can just go here and be like, how are you going to both defend him and stop mate? I don't know. Like, I can't even go here, right? Because this is still ending up in checkmate. And so it's like, Right. I can't even take that pawn. Like, I got nothing. Like, I totally screwed this up, which is really, really frustrating. Clear sign I haven't traded chess for a year and I mostly play bullet. Oh, well. I mean, bullet can be training, right? I don't know. Okay. So, I didn't do that. I didn't go the full on trade. I went here, he goes here, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I can't trade these rooks. I don't mind trading a pair of rooks and even the queens. That would be kind of great to keep just one rook to pressure this, and then I can really start building up on it. So what I decided to do instead was to trade like this. I was kind of hoping they would take with the queen, and then I would take and they would take, thinking they have the open file, they must be good, and then I was just going to go bam, rook c1. Let's see, what would that look like? Let's say here, 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 and then I go here. And now I'm on this weakness. I bet the computer's going to say equal. Ooh, negative point. No, fully equal. Because rook b2 is pretty annoying. But I thought I would be okay here. Like, I thought at least I could pressure this pawn long term. I could go like here, maybe here. Like, if I go here... Oh, right, no, that immediately drops. I don't want to do that. Yeah, maybe I don't know how I'm supposed to do that. Maybe I wasn't going to trade there. But I took here, assuming they would take there and move my queen. And then now I finally go back to the reasonable stuff, right? So now I'm like, I'm on these two. I've decided it's time to exploit the weaknesses. We can go here, and we can start putting the pressure on. All right, so he goes there. Of course, he's threatening stuff with pushing g5, g4, dislodging the knight, being on that pawn. So I decided I'll play g3. It's fine. He gave me, I remember, interesting like eyebrow raise. Like, that wasn't the best move. And I was like, interesting. What is he seeing that I'm missing? And then I did see when he plays rook b2. I was like, I was fine with letting the rook come to b2. That was not an issue. I felt like I would be totally fine there. And then I realized, like, oh my goodness, am I in kind of big trouble? This f2 pawn is weak because he's going to drop the knight and pressure it. And even if I, say, play rook b1 to trade off the rook, he can just back it up with the queen and re-engage the same problem. And how do I even get out of this? I was kind of freaking out. I thought maybe I was lost here. And I spent, I'd say, 25 minutes here really trying to figure this one out. Okay, on the topic of bullet, I think playing faster time controls, including bullet, will really help you get to the next level. Okay. I do actually think playing blitz is helping me get to the next level. One of the things I've done in the last year is intentionally play a lot more blitz to try to get more games in, get more experience with my openings, get more experience with tactics, be better at finding tactics faster. But it's also very intentional blitz, right? It's like, I play a game, I examine a game. I know going in, I've got time for 3, 4, 1, sometimes 2 games. Whenever someone tries to rematch me, I decline. I don't do like elo chasing. I don't even care what my blitz rating is. To me, it doesn't even matter, except for when it gets too low. Like right now, it's slipped into the mid 1300s, and now I'm getting paired against 1200s, and it's like the games are worse. But as far as like my ego and my rating, they're totally separate. I just use it as a tool to get more games in and get more experience playing. So I do think blitz can have a really useful role in improvement, but I also think it needs to be intentional. I think a lot of people get sucked into the like, I'm gonna play 2 games of blitz, and then like 3 hours go by and they're blurry-eyed and angry and feeling bad about themselves, and I don't know that helps with improvement. It might though. What's up, Slipkabone? Thanks so much for stopping by, and thanks for the congrats. I did it. What's next? I don't know. Okay, so basically I'm worried here. I spent 25 minutes. I look at a million different moves. I looked at h3 to keep the knight out. Why didn't I think that worked very well? I think because Yeah, now that I'm looking at it, that kind of looks reasonable. Why didn't I want to do that? I had a good reason. Oh, I remember. I was quite worried then about this sack. Like, is that mate? Like, that's certainly mate. But does that sack work? And yeah, the engine says that sack loses. So I was looking a lot at that. I looked at H3 and then realized suddenly, oh my, I think that loses to a sack. Can't do that. I looked at Rook D1 with the idea of, what was the plan here? The plan here was to support this pawn. I don't remember why I felt like I needed to support the pawn. I looked at Rook C1. I think that's probably the best move. This move allows me to pressure here. It allows me to go here and cover this if they come in this way. And that was the move I almost made. And I imagine that's the computer's favorite. Yeah, the computer says that's basically even. Why didn't I do that move? I didn't do that move because... Yeah, I'm struggling to remember why I didn't do that move. Okay, I don't remember. This is the problem with not putting all of your ideas down immediately after. But I thought that wouldn't work as well as I wanted it to. I think also because, if nothing else, this is just such a passive position. I think that's what it was. I think I saw this and I was just like, man, is this really what I want to do? Like, black's pieces all look kind of reasonable. And I had to move my knight back to D1 just to hold on to F2? Like, there's no way that can be good. I think that is how I evaluated this position. Let's see, bullet has helped you in blitz and feeling much more comfortable times. Yeah, I totally buy that. I've done some experiments with my daughter where I get 10 seconds total for the game, and I get a 5-second delay for each move. And then she gets an hour. And we've played games like that. And it's very fascinating to really, like, you got the clock in your head. It's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you better move. Yeah, it's very tough, especially when your opponent has an hour, because you have to be like poised to move, and they can just be like do do do, bloop, and suddenly move. It's a very challenging experiment. At least it was for me. All right, Bishop C1 has the added threat of knight takes D5. Bishop C1. Where are we talking about here? Bishop C1. How can a bishop get to C1? I'm not sure what we're saying here. Rook C1. Okay, I was like, what? All right, Rook C1. Yes, it does have that threat. And yeah, these are all things I was looking at. But after this, maybe, I don't know, can we do this? Like immediately? Maybe we can. That looks quite good. Maybe I could do that immediately. Yeah, I don't know. Let's check with the computer and see what the computer says about Rook C1. So the computer likes Rook C1, and yeah, I think, yep, the computer does like takes D5, which is interesting because I was looking at that in the game as well. But I think what I thought was like, regardless of what I do, I don't know. I think I was thinking I was going to be forced into this. I think I might have missed knight takes D5 in that second. I don't know. It's hard for me to remember exactly. But so what I did was the move I didn't want to make. And I said, let's just trade this off then. Like, this is too annoying. What I was really terrified of was just, I don't know the best square for the queen. Let's say here. I'm just backing it up. And if I go takes, now I feel like this is the same thing, only worse. And the engine says it's still fully equal. Now the queen takes on c6. If here... Oh yeah, that doesn't work at all, right? Because bam, bam. Okay. And I don't think I saw that far ahead. I was looking here, and that's, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I'm trying to calculate 4 or 5 moves ahead. We're running lower on time, and yeah, I didn't quite see that sequence, but they just took, and I was like, really? Okay, okay. And I think they took for this reason, right? Now they get the knight in here. The knight is kind of dominating my knight. I can't come back here. But I was like, why can't I just go here? And I felt like I was probably fine. And then they took, and I took. And then they played c5, and I was like, ooh, I don't think that's a good move. So I took. They took back. And then I think this was a really good move. I think what they were thinking is they'd be able to go here, force the queens off. And I didn't like this either. There's no way I win this. And if anyone's winning, it's black. I think the bishop being able to patrol both sides much easier gives black an advantage, not a big advantage. The engine disagrees and says it's basically dead equal, which, you know, I agree. But I think if anyone is fighting for a win, it's black there. And so I think that's why they went here, thinking they were gold. But this does not work. Boom. Check. My queen is in. Boom. My knight is in. Suddenly my pieces went from like totally doing nothing, they're really open king not mattering, to suddenly everything matters, right? And they're very close to getting mated. If they just mess around and like take the pawn, then I get to go here. If they were to go here, that leads to mate. If they go here, what was my idea there? My idea there was, boy, I'm not really seeing it at this particular moment. Oh, I think maybe my idea was to go here and here. I think that might work. Let's see here. Check, check. This might not work because of this. It might be an immediate draw. But these are the ideas I had. I don't remember what my plan was here. Bishop hangs. Where does bishop hang? Oh, that's what it was. Yes. So this is the fork. Duh. Yes, exactly. So if they just go here, then it's just a fork, and I win. And that's what I had seen, right? I had seen that this move was utterly devastating. So then, but then if they go here, sorry, if they go here, then after this, even I think I would go here first, and they're kind of dead here as well, right? Like here, we're just going, well, maybe we go here first, and then we're coming in, but we can see they're in huge trouble, probably dead loss. So they kind of have to go here, and then when I come in here, I'm threatening this fork, so they can't take there. So then I have to figure something else out. And I was like, oh my god, I've won this game. And then they found this move, and I went here, and then they went here, and I didn't fully understand this move. Yeah, I didn't fully get this move. So I went here, thinking, now I'm going to put the knight here, and I'm going to have all the same threats, and I basically won. Two things I missed. One is the move he made, but the other one is, now that I'm looking at it, why can't you just go here? Oh, no, okay, no, this is the same fork. Got it. Okay, but the move I missed was this. And there was a second, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't get mate. But I channeled my Karpov. Like, I've seen so many Karpov games where this exact kind of stuff happens. Where he gets this big attack, and then there is no mate, but he's calm and cool about it, and he just wins anyway, right? And so I was like, wait, what am I worried about? I can go here. He moves over. Yeah, there's no mate, but I get all his pawns. Takes, boom, check, boom, boom. Now I'm up 2 pawns. Yeah, being up 1 pawn in a queen thing isn't that great, but being up 2 pawns, the game's over. And so I was very happy that I found that. And it was still kind of hard from here. What is this free queen business? Did I make a ridiculous move? Is that? Oh yeah, I did, didn't I? Ah, right. Okay. My coach said the same thing. He goes, "Excuse me." He didn't really move there, did he? And I was like, "What? Yeah, he did." And then he's like, you would just take his queen." And I was like, "Oh, right. Okay, he must have gone here." So I don't know. I have in my notes that he went here. Actually, let me pull it up. Let me see. All right. Let's see what I wrote down. I think I wrote down the wrong thing though. 29. Nope, I even have written down Queen B1. And for some reason, when I put it in, I put it in as Queen C2. So I wrote down the right thing. Let's make a double note of this. This is the move he actually made. For some weird reason, I put it in wrong. But yes, free queens are nice. So then he comes back. I fork. Doesn't do anything except wins 2 pawns. So then here's the question: like, can you win from here? And I was like, I have the confidence I can win from here. So he goes here, hitting these 2 squares. So I gotta stop this. I come back, check, G8, and then I'll just make a queen. Boom, ba-doom, ba-doom, ba-doom. He can stop it. So I tried to force off queens here. It didn't really work. So I went here to protect. Then he comes even closer. And I thought, okay, best case, I get this queen off. If not, he's got to keep coming over. Then I come over. And then here, I was like, all right. This is where I took actual endgame knowledge, right? Because I was like, I can go here, and I can force off the queens, but I'm losing a pawn. Does this win, right? And I really had to be careful about this, and I calculated, and I decided it does indeed win. And then I went here, and now I get my passer, and if he takes, if instead he takes, which is what I had calculated. I had calculated sort of this race, and I was like, yeah, that's totally fine. I can just, come over and do this, and then I go this, and then I take, and then I'm going to win over here anyway. But he didn't do that. He went like that, so I got my passer. He comes over, and then he comes in, and I just go, okay, cool, just come around. And he went there, and I just ignored it. Takes, and then now he's in Zugzwang. He's got to move back. I move up. The game is over. And here, his clock went to zeros. And I had known going in that if I beat the guy I thought I was going to play, who was rated 1850, that I would actually go over 1800. But this guy was only rated 1720 or 1715, and I hadn't done that math. And I was like, oh, first of all, is he high rated enough? Second of all, a lot of the reason I was going to go over 1800 was because the calculator said I was going to get a big bonus for going undefeated, but I took a bye in the first round. I was like, will that affect it? Will I not get the bonus? And as ridiculous as it sounds, I really wanted to be 1800. I didn't want to be 1780. I've been 1780. I know what that feels like. You almost get to 1800. Then you inevitably have the bad tournament. You fall back, and it's this rat running on the wheel thing. I guess a hamster. We don't usually put rats on the wheels. And I got there. I got this. Everything came together. It crowned me with the 1810, and I can move on with my life. I'm now forever can say I reached 1800. My new floor is 1600. And here's the weirdest thing that I've realized is that I'm over 50. And I've hit my highest ratings the last 3 years, right? So, whenever I think about, oh, is age going to be a barrier? I think it's really important that I sound okay, I've done it. 3 years in a row at the highest ages I've been. I hit these new ratings. Also, I've been 200 points over my floor for the entire time I've been back. A lot of older people, they're either at their floor or 8 points above their floor. So I'm pretty proud that I don't know, I'm doing something right, that I'm not just hanging out at my floor yet. I know those days will come eventually. When I'm 80, I'm not going to be grinding chess improvement. I'm just going to be playing for fun. But for now, I'm hanging out well above my floor. Okay, so that's that. We made it. Won the Daniel Naroditsky Memorial Tournament. Clear first. won the third highest prize in the tournament, got to 1800, feeling the best probably I've ever felt about chess. Just, I don't know, for some reason hitting that mark means it was like a hurdle I had put in my mind that I'd like to be able to make. And I was starting to worry, like, would I be able to make it? The next one I would love to make is 2000, and I don't. As crazy as it sounds, I'm not sure that's realistic. Like, I don't know. We're gonna have to see. Like, this whole time, beating slews of 1800s. I feel like I'm 1800, but I can't really beat 1900s. They're just better than me. And I don't think that's permanent. I mean, I'm getting better, and hopefully at one point I will feel like I'm as good as 1900s. But I'm not there yet. I don't feel like I'm as good as 1900s. So I've got work to do for sure. I got to continue improving if I want to keep moving up. And I don't know, there's something weird. Like 1900 seems pretty whatever to me. Like for some reason in my head, I have 1900 as a rating. That like, okay, cool. You're 100 points higher than 1800. 1800 already said you were good. 1900 just says you're a little bit better. But 2000 says like, dang, you're good. So that's kind of the next goal. But it's such a lofty goal. I would rather have my goal be 1900, but I'm having a hard time making that my goal. I don't know why. All right, I got a question. For y'all. Fried Foxy, this is specifically for you. You up for some Sicilian training? Just so you know, I often take those training games to my coach, and we look at them as like part of my Sicilian work that I'm doing. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. He appreciates you too. He's like, oh, that's awesome. You have someone who will actually just play Sicilian games with you. That's great. If you don't have time, it's not a problem. We'll do other things. All right. Oh, also, this might sound ridiculous, but I'm going to do an entire podcast. My bonus episode this week is going to be about sort of reflections on reaching 1800, and not like the chess improvement reflections of like I did this tactic and this resource, but about all of the other stuff, all of the other stuff associated with with reaching 1800, all the psychology, all the community, all that kind of stuff. So should be fun. All right, yeah, let's try it, Daniel. Yes, Crean, C Crean. I hit 1800 USCF. I'm officially a grandmaster. Wait, no, wrong rating. But I'm getting better. All right, Daniel. Yeah, let's do it. It'll be fun for you to try E4. What is your Lichess name? I'd rather play on Lichess if you don't mind. I kind of have the stream advertised as a Lichess stream. We'd have to change the title of the stream if we want to move to other sites. I won't even name them. Thank you, C Cream. Okay. What is your Lichess name? Oh, that's right. He's speed limit 55. I've played him many a time. All right, so I'm going to challenge speed limit 55. 5-2 sounds good. I'll be black. And I need to make all these people my friend. I don't know why they're not. Speed limit under score 55. That does not exist. Speed limit underscore 55. I don't understand. Oh, speed underscore limit. Okay, sorry. Okay, I was wondering, Slip Capone, if that was you. Right now, I am not really playing Star Wars Unlimited anymore. I don't know why. It's a good game, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. It's just, I get less excited the more sets come out. With all the players dropping, you only have left the sweatiest players. It's just not quite as fun for me. I don't know. Maybe it's partially just how easy it was to win every event before, and now I don't play, and so when I show up, I don't win events anymore because I'm the weird guy that never plays and just randomly shows up occasionally, and people are like, he's here? What? I have been trying Riftbound though, and I find it fun. But boy, the rule set it's a lot, and it's been challenging. no one knows the rules. They all think they know the rules. It becomes very complicated. Okay, so he went with the bishop e2 line. So this is a very pivotal movement. Now, this sort of should define the whole thing. Daniel's not a big e4 player, so it might not define it as much for him. But it does mean I can play e5. And then I will copy Daniel. Let's see what he does. Okay, if he's going to castle, I'm going to castle. Then I assume the bishop's going here, and then my bishop will go here. So we shall see. So bishop e2 tends to be like the more positional Najdorf. I think of this as like a Karpov-style Najdorf. I will go here. We're defending this spot. And now just making typical moves. Funny thing is I'm already forgetting my theory. Is the knight better positioned here or here? I'm going to assume here. This is kind of the ideal spot for the knight in the Najdorf. I think my next two moves will be like here, here, then here. And then we'll just kind of see what Daniel does from there. Yeah, you can tell just from Daniel's time usage that, you know, this is not a position he's used to. And then this is a very weird move. Now, from just like a chess player move, that looks perfectly normal, right? Like maybe I was going to go here and try to force off this bishop, but like there's so many other moves that a Najdorf player on both sides would play before they would play h3 there. So I just find that sort of fascinating. Okay, so they're doubling, like, I don't know exactly what this does. It's like now he's trying to kind of do an English attack, but the English attack very much wants like this pawn storm, and maybe this is the first step of a pawn storm, but a pawn storm in front of your king is very dangerous. So we're kind of seeing, I feel like we're seeing Daniel's inexperience with this specific opening in his move choices. But maybe he's also thinking like, I want to double up on this pawn, and this pawn looks weak to me, and maybe I can exploit that. I think that's reasonable. Do you find TCG thinking can help with your chess? I think that's such a great question, and I think the answer is yes, in that I think having something else you're sort of interested in relieves a bit of the pressure of chess. Like, chess is hard because the advancement is so slow, and sometimes never comes, that having something else can be useful. Okay, so I'm already looking at sort of the typical sack here, because I could pick up this pawn. So the question is it good here? I don't think that it is, but I want to examine it a bit. So if I take, I don't think they take with the pawn. That leaves them with pretty bad pawns, plus I'm on this with tempo. I guess the question is, where does the knight go? And if it goes someplace great, then this is good. But I don't think it does. I think it just, queen moves, knight has to just go back. I don't really know what I've accomplished. So I'm assuming they're going to take with the queen. I do again get a tempo, and then maybe actually I can go here and here, and we've got this potential fork. I'm going to do this. This is just such a stereotypical move in the Najdorf. I'm going to go for it. This might lose the game. I'm comfortable with that. These are training games. I want to see if in this spot it works. If I had more time, like if this was a rapid game, I mean, I already took a lot of time in this move, more than I probably should have. But sort of the mantra I've been working with is if you can get the exchange and a pawn, it's often worth it, especially if you can ruin their pawn structure. But here I think I get something slightly different, which is not ruining their pawn structure, but getting to do this. But maybe that doesn't work, because maybe, let's say, I don't know, moving totally out of range of problems here and then here. But I think I go here and I still have this idea. But then maybe they go here. Yeah, I don't know. This might not have worked. It might be just quite, it doesn't quite come together right. I'm forgetting about my f-pawn, though. So maybe I don't want to block the f-pawn, but I don't know if I have a choice. I do. After if they do this approach, I can come in here. Okay, so that's what I was wondering. Is it going to be like a counterattack situation? So like if I go here, and then he goes there, like maybe this is a disaster, right? And I think probably this didn't work at all. I think is what we're looking at. Because like if I try to back up here, then he's in trouble. So I think this was a tactically bad idea, more so than a positionally bad idea. Because also I can't really go here to defend, because then it's like takes. I can't take here because of this tactic, and I wasn't looking at all the tactics. Although, wait. Here, takes is on this. Maybe though they go here, and then they finally get that pawn. Oh boy, I don't think this worked. Is there anything I can do? I don't really want to lose this pawn. It makes me feel kind of ridiculous. Like, well, then what was the point of all of this if we're just giving up that pawn anyway? I certainly don't want to give up the piece. Yeah, interesting tactical moves. I don't see anything. Oh, and I can't even go here, give up here, and push here because it's hanging again. It's very unfortunate. I think I blew it. Is what I think happened. So one more time. Takes here. Yeah, I think this thing's basically over at this point. That was a poorly executed maneuver. This doesn't work. I'm spending so much time here because, like, if this doesn't work out, I've pretty much lost. And now I've totally lost because I spent all of my time here. I don't know what this was. This was, I took it too much like a practice game. Wait, I can't even take back. Oh no, I can't take back. That's it. But yeah, we've lost. Ah, boy. What was your motivation to pick up the knight, or if there are so many lines and pawn structures to learn? Okay, so here was my motivation. I used to play it many years ago, and I enjoyed it. Yeah, we're just going to have to try. Yeah, we're totally dead. Oh, yeah, so I didn't see that. Okay. Yeah, we're dead. Let's take a look at this real quick. First, I'll answer your question. I used to play it many years ago. I stopped because it was too much. I wasn't good enough at chess. I wanted to play something. I wanted to, like, play more Karpovian and play, like, positional chess. I hadn't really done that before. And I really liked trying it. And then I had a bunch of people tell me, like, you seem like such a tactical player. And Kostya Kavutsky really shook me once, where he looked at like 6 straight of my games and he was like, you should be playing the Najdorf. You're a Najdorf player. I don't know what you're doing with this Caro-Kann. It was really strange. Not sure what I was doing. yeah, let's look at this, Daniel. I definitely misplayed this. Okay, so I think H3 was not correct. Well, let me rephrase. It's not a Najdorf move. It's not on any of the database. This also, I guess it's fine. Rook C8 is the move. And then here, it's kind of unclear what Daniel is doing because this pawn is well defended. Like, it doesn't really do anything. I think my plan is pretty easy. Just push here and go on. Engine likes this move also, but also, to be clear, says it's totally equal. This is what I tried, and this loses on the spot. But the idea, I think, is reasonable. Like, if Daniel had taken this way, then it works great. Then we have exactly what you want to get with this. You have a broken pawn structure and an extra pawn that you've achieved, and the engine says I'm winning. What I missed was the tactical component of this very basic double attack. And that is why this is bad for black. If Daniel does anything else here, the computer says your sack was good. Any move on the board. There's only one move that refutes this, and it's a tactical idea. It's not a positional thing. So positionally, this was a great positional sack. Tactically, it loses on the spot. So, like, this move is fine, but black is still good. So, yeah. You think I have d5 here, huh? I don't think I have d5 here. Let's see. Takes. You're defending it twice. What are we talking about? Takes, and then a tactic here? Or are we looking at something with this guy moving? I don't know. I'm not seeing what we're talking about. But, good game, Daniel. Do you have another one in you, Daniel? Because I think that was interesting. I think we both learned something there. Greg says, congrats on 1800. You just listened to the Jesse Cry flashback when he said, let's start with 1800 boss. I know. And we did it. Now Cry, what's up next? But yeah, I like Cry's approach, right? Just do what's in front of you, man. Like, what is this, like, oh, but Jesse, I want to be blah blah blah. It's like, just handle what's in front of you. Don't get ahead of yourself. Just do what's in front of you. Very, very reasonable guy, that guy. Okay. Let's see if our friend Daniel wants to play another one. He does. Excellent. Hopefully I won't throw the game. This is the cool thing about these training games, though. Like, I'm not beating myself up at all. I'm just like, yeah, okay. That was a mistake, and I learned something, right? Like, I learned something from that game. I like Daniel. I don't mind losing to Daniel. I'm not devastated. It's just a thing that happened, and I learned something. And maybe Daniel learned something too. And maybe you all did. So we all learning. How do you reply to the queen takes d4 line? Yeah, that one, try it, because I don't know. That's a good question. I just put that in my repertoire. Like, I didn't even have that in my repertoire. And now I have an answer, and I don't even remember what it is. Awesome. Okay. Pretty sure I go here, kicking the queen. Okay, yep. Then if you go there, already I don't remember what I do here. I don't think I go here. For some reason, I'm thinking I go here. I don't love that. So I'm gonna make the move I think looks fine, which is to go here. And now I'm threatening that. And then here seems fine. It doesn't look great for me, though. This looks totally fine for white. I think here I just want to continue developing. I'm just a little worried about that. Takes here. I think that's fine. Comes over there. I don't love this situation. Trying now to decide, do I go here? I don't think so. I don't know. Good questions. I don't really want this pawn to be isolated. It's about to be, unless I move this pawn. I could go here, and then here. I think that's what I want to do. Wait, here. Yeah, I think I can do this, right? I mean, castling long here looks pretty solid. Yep, it sure does. Yeah, in fact, it loses this pawn. Because after here, the pawn falls. So yeah, this is not working out at all. I am going to go here. But I think I'm going to make a really weird move here. Pretty sure if he takes, I'm going to take back with the pawn. To try to hold everything together. This is no way this is right. I'll have to look at my repertoire after this. There's no way this is correct. My position looks terrible to me. I think I played it too passively. There must have been some, like, counter strike. Huh. That's a little surprising. How do I deal with this mess? if I go something like here, it just takes. Yeah, I don't have any idea what to do. I'm gonna go here. I don't know. I don't have a good plan. I feel like I'm just losing. I think probably next will be something like push this stuff down. I don't know. I can't see a plan here. If here, what about there? I just don't understand why he hasn't taken here yet. Am I missing something? Takes. Here. Takes there. Yeah, I don't understand what's happening. So I don't want to go here because I don't want him to take there. Okay. Boy, I'm having a hard time finding a single decent move. I don't know. Just looks like I'm lost. I probably should have played e5. What is happening? What is going on in this game? Okay. We're just going to both pretend like he can't just take that knight and wreck me. Let's just do that. Let's keep this theory alive. I like this theory a lot. Okay. You can certainly take my piece now. Okay. Let's push him away. This may lose to here and then now takes. No, I think it's the same. Oh, actually, it's even better, isn't it? Now I can back this pawn up again. If that is if takes. I guess I did just hang this pawn. I mean, this guy's hanging. But I didn't really think about that. UNC so old he created chess. I don't know who UNC is. Are we talking about me? I'm pretty old, but I didn't create chess, unfortunately. Okay, I will take. Yeah. Then I don't know. Now things seem much better for me. I think I'm gonna go here. Wait, is he gonna come out here? That seems reasonable. I think I'm gonna go here and stop that. Definitely low on time again. I'm going to try not to get as low as I did last time. Last time I kind of gave up and accepted that I was losing, so I let myself go really low on time. And the question is, do I take with the bishop? I think the answer is no. I think I'm going to take here. That's kind of a mess. What am I doing with this rook now? I'm just down a rook. So maybe I should have taken with the bishop. Then we go here. And we're going to pile up on this pawn. I think I'm going to go here and here. Yeah, let's go here. I guess this is kind of annoying. It's not the end of the world. Oh, it is the end of the world. Then he has another attacker on that. Maybe that's fine. Okay, backing that up again. Seems wise. I'll just triple on it. I don't know that I get anything but for tripling on this. I think next is going to be like here kind of stuff. Oh, this is kind of clever. Like that would be a really interesting move. I think if here, I'd have to come back. But then he's got here. Let me go here, I guess. This is a very interesting one. What did he do? He moved his rook up. Okay. Maybe I can go here and threaten this. Then if push takes... I feel like I have a good shot. I'm really interested to look at why he couldn't take. I must have been missing something. Because Daniel's a very good player, so he's not just going to miss that. Oh, right. Now he is hitting it. Okay, so let's take care of this. We don't want that. This is annoying. It's not the end of the world. I was going to move the queen anyway, but it's not great. Okay. Turning that a second time, and that would end the game. So we'll go here. Feels like a very temporary fix. Okay. Goes there. Oh, that would almost dropped my queen. I'll go there. Okay. Push that forward. Yeah. No, that won't work. I gotta go here to be able to go here. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Go here. And then here. 6 seconds is going to be very hard. I wish I hadn't let myself get so low on time. Now that the game got more interesting, it would be great to have a few more moments. Okay. Let's do. Ugh. So is Daniel just winning there? Probably. Well, I don't know about winning, but probably winning because my pawns are a mess. Yeah, I think he must be winning there. Okay. Which is quite a common structure. In other options, you get a massive pawn center in the case of two unopposed bishops. Yeah, that's true. Notice Daniel only play bishop after you weaken your structure with e5. Yeah, let's take a look at that because I think that was a really critical part, and I think it's the place I can get the most learning from this game. Okay. First question, bringing up my Najdorf repertoire. I'm not going to show you all my repertoire. That's too dangerous, but I will talk about it. But it's open in another window over here. Let's see. What did I call this? I called this Queen takes e4. Okay, so after Queen takes e4, yes, I do play Knight c6. And then after this move, yep, I play that. Then takes, other knight. So this is all my repertoire. This is all my repertoire. I have all these moves in my repertoire. That's where my repertoire stops. Okay, well, I guess I should be happy then that I effectively played my repertoire, but also I hate this position. So what? We really need to understand this. This is what I remember to play to, yet we get there and I'm like, ugh. Okay, all these seem reasonable. Daniel's making all the number one book moves, so. Okay, and this was the spot, right? This is the spot where I was like, ooh, I'd like to castle, but I can't. All right, so let's see what happens if I do castle. I castle here, 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 here. This seems much, much better for white, right? I think we can agree. Engine says it's not that much better. you would just go here. If white goes here and insists, well then what? Like, you have 2 bishops. Maybe even black's winning here. No, white is up 1.3, probably because of a tactic. Because positionally, this looks quite good for black. But that's probably not what we want to do. So Daniel says he learned this line once with white. It's about equal. Okay, so the question then becomes, should I take this way? And I guess the real question becomes, I don't think I want to take this way if I've castled. So I would have to commit to this without castling. So that would be like here, here, and then actually doing like my rook over. Engine or database does not have rook over at all. And the engine does not like this move at all. And I didn't love it either. So what are the choices here? Choice number 1, the main move by far, is just castle. And then, all right, I am down a pawn though here. That's what I was forgetting. Like, yeah, sure, everything gets traded off, but I'm down a pawn. So I certainly wouldn't be comfortable having everything traded and being down a pawn. That seems terrible. That's why white was up 1.3 in that line, because they're down a pawn. Here it's a little different because we can give up this one, get the pawn back, and now black is ahead. So interesting stuff. So what did you come up with, Daniel? What do you think I'm supposed to play here then? So if we have this position, nope, sorry, this position, should I just castle and go down the pawn? You can win back the pawn. Maybe that's the thing. Okay, so if I go here, and you takes, you're up a pawn. Aha. So yes, so the point is I'm not supposed to recapture here, which is the only thing I could see, is obviously I would recapture there. The engine says what I should do is it's combining the 2 ideas we looked at, right? So it's going here first, and then if they take, then this pawn will be hanging at the end of all of this stuff. I guess. I thought it would be taking here. The engine says no, just go here. Now you're taking this pawn, and now you're threatening to get in, and this is actually a little bit dicey. You get this pawn back. White's pawns are messed up. I didn't see any of this. Okay, so that's really important. There's a really critical moment if your opening prep takes you to here, which mine basically did, but then you don't know the tactical reason why you can castle, you might as well not have had opening prep, because you get in the moment and you just go, oh, so like I lose? How does my opening prep take me to a losing position? And you have to see why you don't lose. Yeah, and another one is, yeah, Daniel's right, Queen A5 is the other move the engine likes. We've got all this stuff coming on. Let's see, the engine says here, best would, it's opening database has E5 as the move, but it's not even on the engine's list. The engine likes a 3 best, which would still give up this pawn. So either way, you're getting the pawn back. And frankly, it looks to me like black's winning. So it looks like that's why you don't take this pawn. So this is what's really funny, is Daniel knew that he wasn't supposed to take there because of all that. I had no idea, so I'm playing all these crazy random moves. And Daniel's like, the one thing I know is I don't take that piece because it doesn't work out. Or don't go for this pawn, that is. And I didn't know any of that. All right, so that goes immediately into my openings file. So I need a moment here to update my openings file. I'll talk you guys through what I would do. So I've got the last move in my database, which was E6. So let's go back. That was here. White clearly is going to castle long and have all this pressure. And it looks like they have a tactic. So I'm going to write in, well, first I want to break the pin. And then they go here. And now things look bleak. Okay. So I'm going to write in here, looks like white wins a pawn. Looks like white wins a pawn, but they only win it temporarily, we actually get a better position with winning a pawn back if they take. Winning a pawn back if they take. So then I'm going to put the castle. And then I'm going to put white's best move in, which apparently the database says is just to move the king over. But I'm going to go back into the database and say, what if they do the takes? What if they do... So let's update this board state here. Here. And the best move seems to be going over. I don't know if that's what Daniel's plan was, just to move over. The engine has a lot of moves it puts above that, which is very interesting, but most people in the database just play here. But then I'm going to say, what if takes here instead, and then now I'm going to put in my files what would happen. I take back, they take, and then the key is don't take the queen. Don't take the queen. 3 exclams. Instead, we're going to come out queen a5, which I think is the engine's number 1 move. Let's check that. Yeah, the engine's number 1 move is queen a5. I guess we should check what about this. And then now we take that way. My goodness, this game just gets so wild. Okay, but there's that, or... Sorry, that you didn't get to see that. The engine likes this move, or the database says this is the best move, but then we have this. And then if they take, we take, and it's just this wild game. And then the other move is the one that would be more expected, of just like a3. Let's just take on c3, which we looked at. Okay, so that's how I do my opening files, and then I'm going to stop there. And that's what I added to my opening file, that game. And then I move on with my analysis of the game. There's no more like adding to the opening file. I'm just trying to add one more step, right? I'm not adding a million steps. So the step here that I added was simply I can castle, right? And that I should castle. I'm even going to put an exclam in there, like just to help me remember that castling is the move here. I'm going to put this is the right move, even if it looks wrong. Don't worry, we get the pawn back, where it doesn't lose a pawn. Because these are the things that I need my own files, are not just moves, but like, especially if my brain has told me a few times, like, that's a bad move, I need my opening files to override my instinct and to be able to say, no, that is not a bad move. That is the right move. Do that move. Okay. So let's continue. Everything went haywire when I didn't castle. Oh, is this an important message? I think it probably is. Still watching the movie. They need another hour. Okay, so I have to text my wife. Okay, parenting and streaming together are challenging. Okay, so let's continue with the game. So I didn't even know what to do, right? I was like, wow, I like all my moves. The 2 moves I want to make are, no, the 1 move I want to make is castling. That's all I want to do, and I can't. Every move I can't castle. And so I keep getting deeper and deeper into this hole of like, I can't castle. What am I supposed to do? Obviously, I want to castle again. Every move, the engine's like, castle, you fool. And then this, like Foxy said, is not great. I don't quite even remember why I did this. It just, this is like a typical Najdorf structure. I knew it was wrong here, but I did it anyway because I couldn't really figure out what to do. I think probably better. If I wasn't going to castle, I could have just kept pushing with this plan. I think that would have been fine. Maybe even going here. But the engine says you castle and you're ahead. Like, and I felt like I was ahead if I could castle. Because their king is looking a little bit weaker. I've got a pawn storm going. Daniel has nothing going on. All these guys, this. That's all he has. Um, I guess that's not quite fair, right? Like he can do this move, but the point is, like, I have a little pressure. Daniel does not have pressure on my king, but I just flipped out, and actually, I don't think that's accurate. I think I rightly understood that I couldn't castle if I didn't see the reason why I could castle. So it's kind of like, I think I'm being a little too hard on myself. But we went down this path. I imagine taking here the engine quickly now thinks I'm losing. Yeah, now I'm just dead lost. And even here the engine's like, what are you doing? Just take this way. Like, this is already guarded twice. Castle next turn and you're fine. Like, I don't know why I did that. That was a really weird decision. Because now everything is fine. It's an even game. No one really has pressure. Everything's good. And so this ends up being, because, like, I had all these stories in my head of, like, okay, I can't take because of blah, blah, blah. Now I can. Just do it. Like, get rid of that story. That story's old. That was a draft. Throw the draft away. And I think that's one of my hardest times. I don't know if you all struggle with that, is once you've created the stories, being able to chuck the rough draft and move on to a new version of the story. That can be really challenging. I feel like that's one of the things that I need to do if I want to press on to 1900, is get better at getting rid of drafts of stories. Okay, well, that game's in the books. Another horrible, horrible loss. This is what most of my Sicilian work is. Me losing terrible games, and then updating my opening files, and then going, okay, well, we'll see what happens next time. So, yeah. Oh, wow, okay. All kinds of plans happening. All right, I got time for another one. I don't know. Is Daniel want to play another one? Does Foxy want to play one? I could play Sicilian training games all day. It's one of these openings where, like, I don't even know if this is realistic. Like, maybe all this work is for naught, and I'll never play the Sicilian in over-the-board tournaments for real. And I'm actually fine with that. If I don't, I do have this dream that in maybe like 2 years, I stop teaching and I do chess full time. And I think part of that full time work would have to be coaching. I think I would enjoy coaching. I think I would be pretty good at it. I am a teacher by trade. But knowing more openings, I think, would be important. I think it would be really hard to be like, well, I only know like 2 openings. So if you want to work with me, I'm happy for you to do your own opening, but I won't know anything about it. I think that's really challenging to tell somebody. Let Foxy give it a try. All right, let's do Foxy then. What is Foxy over here again? He is understable. Yeah, here it is. Understable it is. Let's do it. Let's do it, Foxy. It's your turn to give me a whooping. Okay. All right. Okay, we're doing this. I don't remember what it's supposed to do against H3. Okay. H3. I think we're gonna put it in this family. The family of the E5 opening. Okay, I do remember something about this. They want to be able to play here and then here if they put the knight here. That's what I'm remembering. And so we don't want them to be able to do both, so we play H5 immediately, forcing them to have to put their knight there if they want to, or doing that, and it kind of messes everything up. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Understable wasn't intending any of that, but that's what my opening theory is telling me. Okay, and now I think we can kind of go normal from here. I'm just going to go here, probably here, here, castle, here, here, and all the normal things. Okay, so now I don't know what's happening. It seems like Understable now is like, I'm just playing a regular fianchettoed kingside, and I do need to fear F4 for now until he castles. So I don't think I want to go here and give him a big juicy target. Yeah, I think that would be a bad idea. I'm just going to castle first. Okay, and now that he's castled, I think I'm okay with that. And if he wants to play F4, then sure, that's interesting, but I'll take. And things will get really exciting and interesting. I don't love h5 right now. Like, I think his approach has really kind of exploited h5 a bit. Trying to figure out where I want this knight in this particular setup. Here, 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 or here, here, here. Probably this looks better in this setup. This is a very weird fianchettoed knight. I mean bishop. Like it's hitting its own pawn. I don't know. It just doesn't seem great to me. I feel like this is a white is not ahead in any way. We'll say that. Okay. When they do that, I often take here. Question is, can I wait and then take later? Takes, has to take. Yeah, I think I like just taking here. And now this weakness of mine is covered. I don't really need to worry. This bishop looks super bad to me. I think I'm just gonna go here. I'm probably gonna go here, putting more pressure on this. They can't play this right away. I would take it. So yeah, they seem to be in a bit of a bind here. I don't really know what Foxy does from here. His position seems not great. I mean, I've got this weird h5 move that maybe can be exploited. But I don't know. I don't love his position. Now he's fried Foxy, so it might not matter at all. He might still just want me. I could accept that. Some people are better than you at chess. Some people are 500 points better than you at chess. But yeah, okay. I think that was a really good idea because this is one of my main moves that I've got, sort of coming. I think this seems solid though, right? How does he defend this again? It's already defended twice, you fool! Okay, so that's ridiculous. Perhaps here. Almost forcing that. And then maybe I really like going here. Maybe I like going here first. If takes here. I think this is probably coming also, which is kind of annoying. Several moves here that seem reasonable. I'm going here. I can also go here now. Although I don't I don't even know if I want to let him trade this bishop for my knight. That bishop looks so bad that I'm kind of looking at it and being like, I mean, maybe long-term prospects are there, right? And that's some of the hard things to evaluate. Also, if I go here, I do have to be aware this moves that's being hit. I think I'm going to resolve that first and just go here and maybe even bring my king up as well. I do need to be aware of this situation. So probably this rook doesn't stay there. He may just play like bishop h6 now, sort of demonstrating that maybe that was a bad idea. And then maybe g4 comes. Like maybe I just made a really nice hook in my position all so I could move my knight, which I don't even know if I want to move my knight. I didn't really think about that clearly. It was just kind of like a, now I can move my knight rather than I want to move my knight. I don't know. I'm really curious to know if this is what understable was going for also. Because it feels like such a weird setup. Here is interesting. I kind of like that. I guess what I'm worried about is if I go here, he has no escape squares. 0. So can this be exploited somehow with like here covering this square and then there? I think so. I think I would lose the piece. I don't really want to move back though. There's very limited life there. I really want to go here. Can I make that work? If he takes the time to go there, then I guess I can make a square for him. I think that's the point. I could just go here and then he could come here. It's not what I want to do, but it's what I could do if I had to. Okay, so he does basically what I thought he might, just in a slightly better way. Oh, in a much better way, because now I can't move away. I think I lost. Oh, boy. I keep losing in these crazy ways. My tactics have been kind of off the last few days. I've lost a lot of blitz rating, losing horrible games. Yeah, I think I'm dead. I knew that was a bad move, and I kind of convinced myself I could make it work. But I don't see any way to save this piece. I think I have lost. It's also being hit twice. So I'm gonna go here. That hangs the rook. Okay, we're gonna just move on. 18 move disaster. This is why maybe I shouldn't play the Sicilian. Like, we're in these training games, I'm just getting destroyed. Just utterly destroyed by random moves I don't know what to do against. Like, H3, it's a legit move, but it's not near the top. It's not something I spent a lot of time on. But I did know this part. I was pretty happy with myself that I remember this in my theory, so that was great. G3 is the number one move, though, and I don't remember that. So let's go to the database. H3. I hope I have something for that. I would assume I do. I definitely spent. Here we go. Najdorf H3. My prep says all of these. Oh, this is where it stops. H6. What? Okay, so in my own prep, I have this as the move that I play here. Wow, it's just way, way down, and it lets them do all the things I talked about. Like, I don't know. I don't think I wanted to do that. It says stopping G4, also a bit of a waiting move. Oh, okay. No, sorry. There are two. I forgot. This is a big deviating point. If he had gone here, then I want to play H6. Which I don't know that I would have remembered. But if they go here, I remembered correctly that I wanted to play H5. But guess what? That is the end of my theory. Oh my god. Okay. It just says by playing H5 now, they can't play G4, Knight G3. That's true. That's true. But what now? Nothing. Empty database. Just all on my own. Okay, so this is something. I'm not going to take the time to do this right now because, like, this is something I actually need to invest some time into. So I need to make a note here. Fill this out. Look at game against understable from 1128 as a reference point. Okay, so I'm not going to do the work right now because I'm in the middle of the stream. But this is where I would just set everything aside. I would open up the resources I've been using to build my repertoire. I would take 20 minutes and just do a deep dive here. And then that would be the end of my game time. Like, I wouldn't play any more games probably because I would spend a lot of time just trying to resolve this issue. Okay, so I'm not going to do that here. This is a fine move according to the database. This is a fine move. I know everyone's playing fine here. Yeah, we're just playing normal chess, but I didn't really know what to do. Okay, here's a good moment. Okay, engine likes this. Put the knight here. Yep, this is all fine. And A4 is the number one engine move. It's a good move. And here I would say is where I got a little bit stuck. I wasn't really sure what to do. And the engine says basically like, you know, just play very small improving moves. Here, G6, here. C5 is like, I don't know, doesn't really gain you anything. Now, you know, its number one move is to bring the knight back. That's when you know you've messed up when the game, when it says bring the knight back. G6, nope, the engine does not like that. Obviously, we have to come back, and this is game over. I convinced myself I could do this because I thought I calculated it's very surface level. And I went, if they cut off this, well, then I could go here. But even this does not work because this knight is already being threatened. So that was just a ridiculously bad move and just ended the game on the spot. If I had gone back here, I imagine I would have lost for sure, right? I was floundering. I was way down on time. I didn't know what I was doing. This is where having some opening theory would help, right? Like, even the fact that my opponent fianchettoed, I was like, what? What is even happening? Like, I didn't have any clue of what was happening in this game. I think this is why so many instructors don't emphasize openings to sub 2,000 players. Eventually the game decide on middle game tactics. Yes, I agree, but also I feel like having opening theory helps you at least have a better window for understanding what's happening. And if, especially here, if I didn't have opening theory, there's no way I would play h5 here. Like, let's just say I played bishop e7, which is a very normal move. Then Understable has this really strong series of moves, and the engine says that this is such a big move. Understable's up 0.6. Like, here it's an even game. After this, it's even. If I go here, I'm way behind, which is fascinating, right? I feel like h3 is just a really good move against the knight for that reason. They kind of have to know they have to play h5 if the knight goes here, but then it's also different if the knight goes here. So it's a pretty nice idea. I think if I were to play e4 again, I would play the English attack. I really like the English attack, but I think I would learn h3 also. I think that's a good, like, they prepped for me to play the English attack, and then I played h3, and they were like, what? They have to know certain moves, and even after knowing them, like, I knew the basic that I had to play h5, but then I was just kind of like, I don't know what to do. And then even here, I'm making all reasonable moves. Like, we're out of opening theory, but, like, I don't know how to progress, right? So, like, what I need here is not opening theory of, like, what's move 15 of the h3 variation. I need, like, in the h3 variation, where they fianchetto, what am I even doing? Like, is my goal to play h6 and play f5, sorry, g6 and f5 and do something like that? Is my goal to play on the queen side? Like, I have no idea what my goal is. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open up my resource. I'm going to look at what am I supposed to be playing for a weakness on c3? I look at this and I'm like, there's 12 plans. I don't know which ones are any good. I could just play for tactics, right? Like you were suggesting, Daniel, that, like, eventually someone will make a mistake. But I feel like once you start hitting 17, 18, 1900, it doesn't quite work like that anymore. Like, one of us, well, Foxy probably is not going to make a critical tactical blunder. I might, because I have no idea what plan to use, and I choose a plan that doesn't work very well. I feel like that's a distinct possibility. So yeah, that's how I'm kind of looking at this. That's where I think opening theory is useful. But I totally agree that, like, under some level, no opening theory is the way to go. And then after that, it's like plans with a very couple of specific moves, but not many. And then at my level, I think it's a mix of more specifics, but really knowing game plans well. Like, I feel like all the openings I'm good with, I know the game plans well. I don't know necessarily the correct move orders, and this is where the Najdorf is going to get interesting. I need to actually know correct move orders, but that's how I've been doing it. Okay, we've been going a while. I think it's time for lunch, and I hope that was enjoyable for you all. I will be back tomorrow for another one of these streams, so I will see you all then. Hopefully, some of my Najdorf friends will be on and be willing to give me some more practice games. I really appreciate it. All right, I got some work to do. I got to figure out what I do against h3. I'm looking forward to it. To me, this is the fun stuff, right? In fact, I'm going to put, as soon as I hit stop streaming, I'm going to go into this file of progress and put in there what I'm going to do next, which is look at this h3 line and get it more together. Know those middle game plans in this H3 line. Yeah, exactly. Move by move, Daniel, I agree. That's like very overrated. One of the most overrated things I found in chess is the move by move memorization. I think there's a couple, like if you want to play the poison pawn or something, you probably need to, but even then, I think it's really what's the middle game plan associated with the poison pawn? And that will help you better understand the move by move that you need to know. But yeah, I fully agreed. See you all tomorrow. Have a good one, everybody. Goodbye.